In the large expanse of action films that have taken over commercial cinema in India, Anurag Basu marks the commencement of the return of romance in Bollywood. But the question is, does it still have the same magic as the mid 2000s? Partly yes and partly no. Metro in Dino, directed by Anurag Basu, is the spiritual sequel to his own directorial venture, Life in a Metro, that released in 2007. The 2007 film focused on 9 people living in Mumbai of various age demographics and shed light on themes such as infidelity, romance after marriage, rekindling old love, and commitment phobia that exists in modern dating. The film created quite the waves in the mid 2000s, not only for the themes it focused on, but the seamless nature with which it connected the lives of the characters and, more importantly, integrated the beautiful music of Pritam, acting as bystanders and observers to the various stories and how they get etched out. Expanding on the same themes and vibe of the 2007 film, Anurag Basu, with a huge ensemble cast, wants to focus on various romantic themes in context to 2025. We have everything from modern love and the phobia to commit, the struggle to start a family in this modern day economy, fading love in a long-standing marriage, and rekindling romance in the latter stage of your life, and the stigma associated with it. Of course, this coincides with Pritam and his melodious music, enhancing our experience in the theatre. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of Metro in Dino so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it in theatres or not. Indulgent running time and awkward acting moments. I've always said this for creators like Anurag Kashyap, Anurag Basu, and this is even true for someone like Vasan Bala. They love the universes they create, as every director should. Where else would you see this passion, if not in the frames and the storytelling? However, there are often times where they become indulgent in their own worlds, fall in love so hard and so deep that they are never economical with their running time or cutthroat with their inconsequential subplots. With Metro in Deno, the running time of the film is close to 2 hours and 40 minutes, and you do feel a pinch of exhaustion as the circumstances go out of hand. For anyone who has seen a movie like Ludo, you would know that the last act of an Anurag Basu film is where chaos ensues, and this is always a gamble because it can either be a comedy of errors or a mess, something that many people felt in the final act of Jagga Jasoos. Chaos erupts here too, but the hope as an audience was that they reached here earlier. Some of the cast performances are absolutely spectacular, but I must say, I felt like the duo of Ali Fazal and Fatima Sana Sheikh struggled the most in making us want to care for their relationship to work out. Ali plays a struggling musician, and much like his journey, he is stiff and awkward through most of his role. Even when moments of anger or distress have to be communicated, there is almost a distance between the actor's effort and the emotion he wants to convey. Similarly, Fatima's character is undergoing exceptionally heartbreaking turmoil, but the expressions often seem awkward. This is particularly obvious in a moment where both the characters argue with one another and Aditya Roy Kapoor plays spectator. The scene is oddly and abruptly edited, and both Fatima and Ali just can't communicate the frustration they are undergoing as a couple. This says a lot for a cast that has Sara Ali Khan, who honestly does a fairly good job in this film. Pritam. Usually what happens is when you are associated with such an iconic album, the review of your rendition today often falls prey to a comparative analysis. There is absolutely no doubt about the fact that Pritam's music for Life in a Metro was one for the ages, enhanced further by the lyrics of Syed Kadri and Sandeep Srivastav, and of course the evergreen voice of KK. I think anyone would be lying if they said that they did not miss the vocals of KK in this 2025 film, because he is truly synonymous with Hindi cinema. Irrespective of the iconic nature of the vintage album, Metro in Dino and its music composed by Pritam truly enhances the experience of this ride. Zamana Lage, sung by Arijit Singh and Shashwat Singh, is absolutely beautiful. My personal favorite is this song called Dil Ka Kya, sung by Raghav Chaitanya, that integrates rock elements to a romantic track, something I believe that has just gone missing from Hindi cinema. You know, angst and pain can be communicated through strong vocals, but there's nothing truly like heartbreak, being communicated through an electric guitar and drums. It took me back to some of the best bangers of the 2000s. Many people may believe that there is Arijit Singh fatigue in the industry currently, but I can't help but be drawn to his singles, and Aur Mohabbat Kitni Karun is another addition to this album that just stayed with me. There is just a longing and aching in his voice that makes the emotional moments on screen and its impact increase tenfold. The Pritam album from the 2007 film may be goated, but the 2025 album truly is a valiant effort. Pritam leaves his stamp, making his tale truly a collaboration with Anurag Basu, making it one of the best and effective long-standing collaborations in Bollywood. Lost potential. The film leaves you with this unresolved feeling with certain subplots. It has the quality of being indulgent, but not really spending time on crucial moments. The situation that arises in the screenplay of this film is that it beautifully fleshes out the point of conflict between the couples. It spends a lot of time in the individuals wanting to find a resolution. However, when it comes to brass tacks, when it comes to the conversation of meeting a middle ground, in many of the instances, it's almost assumed that it has been resolved. So we go from a bickering couple with genuine problems to everything is good and hunky-dory. But there is not a closure to understand how they pass this bridge. This is especially true for a lot of characters who I can't reveal because that'll be a spoiler alert, who you feel should not get back together as partners. There is potential in this movie to extract some gut-wrenchingly emotional moments, but it almost leaves you begging for more. Anurag Basu is a very interesting filmmaker this way. He brings you so much cinematic magic, but his screenplay often leaves you wanting for a little more focus. Staging and themes. This movie has one of the most beautiful introductions I have seen in the last few years in Hindi cinema. The characters break the fourth wall and introduce you to their life and their point of conflict. The film is choreographed like a stage play, and I have seen this kind of staging last time in an underrated film like Jaane Man, where to communicate the oscillating journey the character has had, the filmmaker uses music, choreography, and the soundstage changing its backdrop like a stage musical. This makes Anurag Basu and the grammar with which he communicates in his movies so unique, and in an atmosphere inundated with such an excessive stimulus with action, it honestly left a perpetual smile on my face. The music in this film has its own presence, and the melodious tunes particularly are never what pulls it down. I love that the film focused on the struggle of various age demographics, everyone from 15 to 70, maybe presenting themselves publicly as having it together, but are internally struggling in their own way. This film beautifully describes this as काश और अगर के बीच में हम काफी बार फंस जाते हैं. The film etches out the problem in modern day relationships and never taking a chance, fearful of what seems right on paper versus what feels right. The loveless nature of marriage and how it manifests into becoming total strangers while sharing the bed with each other each night, and an unfulfilled life lived for others while everyone assumes you had everything and more in life. It does make you introspect. The only issue is that it doesn't land like a home run, but makes you feel this in spurts. The cast. I must say that there are two stories from this film that I absolutely fell in love with. One involves Anupam Kher and Neena Gupta, and the other involves Pankaj Tripathi and Konkana Sharma. These are the relationships that truly make you laugh, make you emotional, and develops them in such a way that you feel like they're a part of your own family. Neena's unfulfilled desire is probably the most charming of the lot, craving to celebrate with her batchmates in her reunion in Kolkata, and how it manifests into the cutest role play to help an old friend out. Anupam Kher is also brilliant in this film. In one of the most emotional scenes, his cutaway to look in the distance and get an empathetic friend like Neena Gupta be by his side easily became my favorite scene from the film. However, if you want to look at fun and actors absolutely thriving in the process, it is Konkana and Pankaj Tripathi. Dealing with the biggest roadblock of a loveless marriage, Konkana is hilarious in dealing with her husband's shady ways. The referee in the middle, their daughter, wants them to mend ways, and this calls for one of the most funny sequences in Goa. Their dynamic is a classic example of great actors elevating even basic material. If you want to, however, see someone having an absolute ball in this film, it is Aditya Roy Kapoor as Parth. He is almost like an extension of his character from Ludo, and he is at his charming best in this film. There is an ease, a fluidity, and almost looseness to his presence. I've never seen him so comfortable in a role. The man was thriving while dealing with a klutz like Sara, and she does a fair job too. She almost feels like an extension of Katrina Kaif's character from Jagga Jasoos. I don't know who approved of this bob for her, because every time I have seen a Bollywood actress try this out, they start looking like an extra from Scooby-Doo, but Sara and Aditya tend to produce the most light-hearted and fun moments from this film. Even me, who dissects Sara's performance in every film like my life depended on it, honestly found her presence to be a breeze, aided even more by Aditya, who is in such fine form in this film. The issue lies in the screenplay, where the filmmaker tends to become indulgent in sequences that are not paramount to the theme or problem that the couples are dealing with. So much time gets spent in a fun sequence or a comedy of errors that when the matter is to be resolved, so much running time passes by that the director almost has to create a fast solution, leaving Metro in Dino as a musical in its truest sense, with some of the most innovative staging and beautiful melodies. However, if it was just slightly tighter in connecting all these four stories and their conclusion, I believe it would not only be a great commencement to the romance genre in Bollywood, but be a home run too. It's just somewhere in the middle by the end of it. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Metro in Dino. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.